Hello from the Falcon Webcast studio at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. I'm John Innsbrucker, and I'll be bringing you commentary on today's third launch attempt of the Falcon 9 carrying the DSCOVR spacecraft. We've just passed the T-minus 15.5 minute mark, and we're continuing to count down towards an on-time launch this afternoon. Launch is planned from our Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. Yesterday's launch attempt was scrubbed shortly before entering terminal countdown when upper altitude winds were found to be too strong and exceeded the Falcon 9's capability. Today, however, the weather is calmer and we are currently go on both ground and upper altitude winds. However, in the Atlantic Ocean, where the Falcon 9 first stage will attempt to land, the weather is much different. A strong storm is in the landing zone with wave heights in excess of 10 meters over the height of a 3-story building. SpaceX has recalled the drone and support ships from the landing area because of this extreme weather. So while the first stage will re-enter and attempt to land, there won't be a ship to meet it, and the rocket will attempt to soft land on the water. The SpaceX team is working on no Falcon 9 issues at this time. The countdown has been very smooth. Propellant loading began as usual at about T-minus 3 hours. We completed the initial load, and Falcon 9 is now topping off the last bits of liquid oxygen in the first and second stage tanks. Liftoff is targeted for 6:03 and 32 seconds p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 23 hours, 3 minutes, and 32 seconds Universal Time. Our launch window is instantaneous today. As we saw the last two attempts, any holds in the next 13.5 minutes would force a scrub of today's launch attempt, since there wouldn't be any time to work issues. Due to the moon's location and orbit around the Earth, if we do not launch today, we would have to wait until the 20th of February before our next attempt. On the spacecraft side, the DSCOVR team working no issues. Spacecraft is quiet. The last major activity is upcoming as DSCOVR goes to internal power at T-minus 13 minutes. We're now going to listen in to the Falcon 9 launch conductor poll the SpaceX team for readiness to enter terminal count at T-minus 13 minutes and into the terminal countdown.
All stations verified go for launch. FTS.
Go.
Prop.
Prop go.
AVI.
AVI go.
GNC.
GNC go.
Ground.
Ground is go.
VC.
VC go.
GC.
GC go.
RC.
RC go.
OSM.
OSM go.
ROC.
Go.
CE.
Go.
MD.
You have permission to enter terminal count.
LD. Verified go to initiate terminal count.
Launch director, go for terminal count.
VC. Start the terminal count auto sequence set to start at T-minus 10 minutes.
Copy.
If a hold is called from this point forward, the terminal count auto sequence will be aborted. Indicate an abort or hold condition by saying hold, hold, hold on the primary countdown net. In this event, the VC will immediately abort the auto sequence. The VC shall not abort the auto sequence after T-minus 10 seconds, and operators shall not call a hold after T-minus 10 seconds. If a hold is called, all operators proceed to terminal count abort steps in section 10.63.
You've heard the SpaceX team give their go for entering the terminal countdown. Terminal countdown is a sequence in which the Falcon 9 and ground computers control the final events in the countdown leading up to launch. Immediately after this sequence begins at T-minus 10 minutes, the pre-valves will open on the 9 first-stage engines, allowing liquid oxygen and fuel to flow to the inlet of the Merlin 1D engine's turbopumps. Bleed valves are opened to allow liquid oxygen to begin chilling in the engines prior to their ignition that happens just in the seconds before T0. Later in the terminal count, at about 6 minutes, we'll begin pressurizing the stage and recline the transporter erector. You'll see the clamp arms around the second stage open, and then the erector move away from the Falcon 9 vehicle. In the last minute of the countdown, propellant tanks will be pressurized to final flight pressures, and the Falcon 9 flight computer will command ignition and liftoff. Once the flight computer performs the final engine limit checks to verify the 9 engines are satisfactorily operating at full power, The ground hold-down system will be commanded to release Falcon 9 for flight. Coming up at T-minus 10 minutes, we'll enter the terminal count. We're going to switch over now and listen to the SpaceX launch team take us through the terminal countdown leading up to liftoff in just over 10 minutes and 15 seconds from now.
Three, two, one, mark. VC announce auto sequence has started.
Terminal count has started.
GCVC stand by on fire X.
Standing by. Standing by.
RC start the tracking camera video recorders.
Tracking started.
OSM set launch enable to flight.
Flight.
Starting M1D chill. Ground T-tub system setting up.
T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes.
ACS closing out. Stage 1 heaters closing out.
T-minus 7 minutes.
Stage 2 heaters closing out. Falcon 9 switching to internal power. Ground TVC system setting up.
T-minus 6 minutes.
Tanks pressing for strong back retract. Starting final M1D fuel bleed. Upper cradle opening.
T-minus 5 minutes.
Starting MVAC TVC motion.
Strong back is retracting.
TVC motion started.
T-minus 4 minutes.
FTS is on internal power. FTS is armed.
MD, verify go for launch.
Discover is go for launch.
Helium load closing out.
LD, verify go for launch.
Falcon 9 is go for launch.
Stage 1 tanks pressing to flight pressure.
Rock, verify range go.
Range green.
VC, verify Falcon 9 is in startup.
Falcon 9's in startup. Stage 2 tanks pressing to flight pressures.
T-minus 30. T-minus 20. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff for the Falcon 9. Falcon 9 at Data Towers. CE set warning space to flight. Warning boost. GC OSM moved to section 10.65.
First stage PU is active.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Altitude 6.5 kilometers. Downrange distance 1.3 kilometers. Speed 599 meters per second.
Recovery as acquisition of signal.
Vehicle is supersonic. Vehicle
stage
has reached
propulsion.
maximum aerodynamic pressure.
First stage prop is still nominal.
Power and telemetry remain nominal.
MVAC is chilling in.
Vehicle remains on a nominal trajectory. Altitude 33.9 kilometers, downrange distance 20.9 kilometers, speed 1468 meters per second. Vehicle remains on a nominal trajectory. Altitude 57.9 kilometers, downrange distance 50.0 kilometers, speed 2350 meters per second.
We have MECO 1.
Stage separation confirmed.
And we have stage 2 engine ignition.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Stage 2 propulsion is still nominal.
Power and telemetry still nominal.
Altitude 130 kilometers, downrange distance 215 kilometers, vehicle speed 2303 meters per second. Altitude 130 kilometers. Downrange distance 320 kilometers. Vehicle speed 2313 meters per second.
Stage 2 propulsion is still nominal.
AFCN AOS.
Power and telemetry still nominal.
Altitude 99 kilometers. Downrange distance 417 kilometers. Vehicle speed 2449 meters per second.
We have stage 1 entry startup.
Second stage FTS has been saved.
Stage 2 prop is still nominal.
First stage FTS has been saved.
Altitude 191 kilometers. Downrange distance 813 kilometers. Vehicle speed 5615 meters per second.
Stage 1 entry shutdown.
Vehicles in terminal guidance.
And we have SECO 1.
Eastern range loss of signal.
We have stage 1 splashdown.
Well, as you saw and heard, Falcon 9 has carried the Discover spacecraft into the low Earth parking orbit. There is a second burn of the upper stage required in about 21 minutes to place Discover into final orbit, heading towards the L1 Lagrange point. SpaceX is ending the webcast now, but remember to follow us online at spacex.com as well as on our social media pages as we continue through the remainder of today's mission. Also, SpaceX would like to say thanks to our NASA and NOAA spacecraft stakeholders, our Air Force customer from the Space and Missile Systems Center, and to the Air Force for Eastern Range and Ground Station support, and to all of you for following us on today's launch. And we'll see you next time here from SpaceX in Hawthorne, California. Thanks for tuning in.